Yo, I'm Bob, totally blind since birth, into Power Rangers, got the Shout Factory box set in my hands. We're talking about Season 2, Episode 5 today. This one's Putty on the Brain. It premiered on September 14th in 1994, and it was also available from Saban Home Entertainment, wherever VHS tapes were sold. So I think I remember seeing a lot of these VHS tapes in store displays. They had these big cardboard cutouts and these little niches where they would place the VHS tapes on display. I never wanted to touch the cardboard cutouts because I was always afraid of knocking stuff over. Not that I ever did, but I thought that the displays probably looked too cool for school and I didn't want to besmirch anything. So yeah, I kind of just had people describing them to me that fall. I would imagine a lot of us got these VHS tapes for birthday, Christmas, and what have you. Also going into the spring of 1995. Man, these tapes were everywhere. So in this episode, you have Zach and Billy, they're preparing for a science experiment and they're going to need some protective glasses. And Zach has found some at a swap meet. Lord Zedd is going to cast a spell on these glasses to change the Rangers' vision rather than to protect their vision. He wants Zach and Billy seeing the other Rangers as putties. He says they'll be too busy fighting each other and out of his way so he can unleash a new monster, the Sal Iguana, on Angel Grove. So Lord Zedd says that mere humans would actually be able to take the glasses off and they'd see the humans as normal humans. But Zedd is going to use his spell to interact with the powers that Zordon has given the Rangers, and their vision's going to be changed permanently. And I remember getting goosebumps during this part when I was a kid because it was another one of those instances in which Lord Zedd seemed to know so much about the morphing grid, about the powers that Zordon bestowed upon the Rangers. And I remember thinking, who the heck is this guy? Just another one of those cool little bits of insinuated backstory. I don't know, I always loved this stuff when I was a kid. So yeah, the spell is cast. Billy and Zach see their buddies as putties. Mr. Kaplan shows up and they attack their friends trying to defend their principal against these quote-unquote putties, and they get detention because, of course, they're attacking their friends. And the Rangers, they find out throughout the episode, of course, that Billy and Zach, they're not seeing straight. And they have Putty on the brain. I think Zach actually says it at one point in the episode. Bulk and Skull, meanwhile, they're trying to record everybody's voices on tape, cassette tape, because this is the roaring 90s in which cassette tapes were a thing and cassette recorders. So Skull is taping Miss Appleby, and they're also going to have to feed her iguana while she prints some tests out. And of course, Lord Zedd makes his move and turns the iguana into the Sal Iguana, scares Bulk and Skull out of the room, but they're fine. A little bit later on, they actually take the glasses from Billy and Zach, and they get scared again because they see everyone else's putties. Of course, they take the glasses off, and they're fine. They run away screaming a second time in this episode. You got to give it to these two. They have been through so many traumatic monster and putty experiences by now that they're just, I think, compartmentalizing everything, and they're like, another monster. We got scared, but we're fine now. So Lord Zedd, he sends down putties to really confuse Billy and Zach. So you have everyone unmorphed, and Billy and Zach are going after their friends. But then they see the putties actually attacking them, so they're able to discern friend from foe in some ways. I think Zach almost attacks Trini until she lets him know who she is. And good thing they actually sound like themselves. I was glad Zedd didn't extend this spell to their auditory senses. Otherwise, boy, they would have really been in trouble. So, they do manage to beat the putties back. They teleport to the command center. Zordon lets them know that this is a distraction so Zedd can send his Sal Iguana down to barbecue Angel Grove. And the Sal Iguana, he can breathe fire. By the way, I wish Hasbro would make that in the Lightning Collection. Sal Iguana, he, of course, is able to breathe fire because he's taken from an iguana and a mythical salamander who's able to live in and breathe fire. And Billy and the other Rangers, they discern that the weakness of the Sal Iguana is that it can't stand cold temperatures. So Zach and Billy go work on an extinguisher. And Alpha gets Trini to teleport to the boys and morph. And of course, when the Rangers are morphed, well, they look like Power Rangers to Billy and Zach. Zedd's spell doesn't work in that case, so I guess he didn't realize that. So they all morph. They do battle with more Putties. They're beating the Putties back. Here comes the Sal Iguana, and he is just a beast of a fighter in more ways than one. He's, of course, breathing fire. He really gives it to Billy. They find out that their extinguisher isn't working because they forgot to put an extra computer chip in there. Then they beat back his fire attacks. They form the power blaster, knock him down. Zedd makes him grow. You see the Thunderzords called into action. I think Jason, he fights it in his Red Dragon Thunderzord in warrior mode at first. Then he has to hop on that little assault team sled, steers clear of the flames. They combine the Zords into the Thunder Megazord. You see the monster's nasty looking tongue. I remember this from when I was a kid. Wraps around the Thunder Megazord. Pull out the Thunder Saber. They slice off the tongue, and they finish him off with that Thunder Saber slash. So Sal Iguana, I think he probably come with quite a few interesting accessories if we got him as an action figure in the Lightning Collection. You could give him an extended tongue. You kind of have that tongue to where you could stick it in his mouth and remove it when you weren't going to use it. He could have fire effects instead of lightning pieces. I guess they could color him red, so you could have that blasting out of his mouth. He did fight with his claws, so you could give him some open hands and some closed fists. I would imagine this monster looked pretty freaking sweet. And we're also getting a Black Ranger, an Adam Park Black Ranger, and he comes with, I do believe it's the extinguisher that Zach actually used in this episode. I'm not sure why they're giving it to Adam in the Lightning Collection, but hey, you know, if you don't have a Black Ranger, you'll be able to get him with this extinguisher device at some point. I already have him, so I'm probably not going to get him a second time just because of an additional accessory. I really wish we could get this stuff in an accessory set, though. That would be cool. So anyway, the episode ends with Lord Zedd being quite ticked off. And yeah, the Rangers are presented with glasses, Billy and Zach are, that have been soaked in an energy beam. This reverses the spell. And Sal Iguana is a normal iguana again. Bulk and Skull are now trying to go to Plan B, and they're trying to get the iguana to sniff out the Power Rangers. Miss Appleby gets mad at him when they have to put the iguana away, and the other kids laugh at him. So it was a pretty cool episode. I loved that Lord Zedd used another opportunity to try and form a rift in the Rangers. And he does it in the next episode. So we're going to be talking about Bloom of Doom next time, in which he tries to divide the team a third time. I mean, he's done it with Premator, trying to get them to fight each other in that episode in the Wannabe Ranger. We saw him do it in this episode as well. And then we're going to see him do it again in Bloom of Doom. So he is really trying everything he can to confuse these kids, to psych them out, to divide them. And, I mean, Rita did that occasionally, but, man, Zedd is on a divide and conquer kick over the first 3 single episodes we see him in. And, boy, what a menacing bad guy. I love Lord Zedd. Anywho, I'll hear you next time, guys, and may the power protect you.